Shalom everybody and welcome to Rega Bivrit Shorashim edition. In this book, Leviticus, or in Hebrew Vaikra, we're going through the Ben Ish Chai. As you notice with the style and the methodology of the Ben Ish Chai, he often liked to illustrate his points, not just on a midrashic level, but on the parables that he used often to explain the meanings of difficult verses. Now, this week, the parasha is definitely a difficult one, as we read the following words in the parasha itself. Lo telech rachil be'amecha, lo ta'amod al dam re'echa. Those words found in Leviticus chapter 19, verse 16, where the Lord uses the word rachil, meaning merchant, or a grocer, one who go for merchant for information or something. And he said, you are not to be a rachil, which, by the way, is a form of lashon hara. And you are not to stand on the blood of your brothers. What is the connection between the blood of our brother and merchanting information? You see, listening for information or giving information about somebody that can potentially hurt them is equivalent in Judaism to specifically murder. Now, the Ben Ish Chai come and explain to us the following. He want to focus on another word that is significant in this passage, is the word in Hebrew, amecha, the one who is inside of him. And listen to what he says. He says, go out and learn from Isaiah the prophet, may his memory be blessed. And he gives the passage of Isaiah chapter 6, verse 5. When Isaiah says, Betoch am tameh sefatayim anochi yoshev. I am sitting inside people who are in unclean lips. And he says, because of that, he was judged, he was punished. And the key, according to the Ben Ish Chai, there's no greater sin than speaking against Israel as a whole, speaking against the community, speaking against anybody inside the community. He says it's the greatest sin of Lashon Hara. And we have to watch out for this. He says, look at Isaiah. Isaiah was punished for this. And then he gave the example of Elijah, the prophet. And you can see it in the First Kings, chapter 19, when Eliyahu Navi pulled himself. Remember, he meet God and he said, God says, what are you doing here? And he excludes himself from Israel and he's speaking about them as he is outside of Israel. Again, this is a form of Lashon Hara, the worst one. The worst Lashon Hara is when one excludes himself from the house of Israel. We need to pay attention to this. Further all, he gave the example of Hosea, who have done the same things, and he gave the example that found in Tractate Pesachim, chapter 87b, where he, Hosea, was punished for that. And that is the meaning. He says, Lo ta'amod al dam re'echa. So what is the upshot here? He says this. Here is the meaning, and I quote from the Ben Ish Chai. The kavanah, the intention, the meaning is, if you see a wicked Russia, somebody from the Zera Israel, meaning a Jew, and he is a wicked one, do not pray upon him. And I want you to stress those two words. Does that sound like Yeshua? Think about this for a second. Listen to what the Ben Ish Chai teach in his commentary. This is so beautiful. Do not pray upon him that he will die, as in the words of Rabbi Meir in Brachot 10. You see, there is a very famous story in Brachot chapter 10 about Rabbi Meir. In this story, a gang came to his house. Now, remember, Rabbi Meir's wife was named Bruria. In the text there, in Brachot 10, Rabbi Meir see them, they are vandalism, they are singing from the river to the sea, they are doing the things they do today in the campuses, they're causing a havoc, the same things we're seeing today. So Rabbi Meir turned to them and say, may you die. The amazing thing about this story is what Rabbi Meir's wife, Bruria, have done. Bruria is turning to her own husband, Rabbi Meir, and said to him, why do you say to them to die? Don't do that. Instead, pray for them that their transgression will stop. What an amazing illustration he's giving us by the Talmud itself. So look at what it says. And so all of those who think that the Talmud is chauvinistic book, well, you clearly have not read the Talmud, because the wife is putting the great Rabbi Meir right in his place. So what he's saying here, the Ben Ish Chai, say, Al ta'aseh kedat Bruria. Okay, don't do what Rabbi Meir says, but rather pray for the teshuvah. And he's quoting Psalm 104, verse 35, where it says, Yetemu chataim. Chataim. Yetmu chataim. Not yetmu chotim. You see, there is a difference. Yetemu chataim, you say, may the silence, those sins will be silent. We don't say, the scripture does say, may the sinners will silence. He say, may the sin silence. You follow the difference? We don't want the sinners to perish. Not in Klal Israel. On the opposite. We want their sin to be silent. You can hate the sin, but you can love the sinner. That's what the Torah is teaching us. And that is the meaning of the words, Al ta'amod al dam ra'echa. Therefore, you are to pray at the tefillah, as it says. Pray the tefillah instead, as it says on Pinchas. V'yamod Pinchas vayfalel. Today we have to make a stand, not against people as we watch what's happening around us all over the world, but stand against the sin. Stand against the words inside the house of Israel. What an amazing lesson it is for us from the Ben Ish Chai, from Rabbi Meir, and from Rabbetzin Bruria. God bless you. Let us pray for the sinners, for the sin to cease, but for the sinners not to perish. Shalom, everybody.